Hello there, kids. Today we are gonna work on some word problems related to time. Okay, so for page 179 all the way to page 182. Okay, before we start pala no, I'm going to give you some basic clues for that will basically help you when we solve word problems that involves time. Okay, things that you need to be familiar with is the time where the situation started or time start, time end, and the total time duration. Duration refers to how long the event happened. No? For example lang, Teacher Mark went to let's say Teacher Mark went to KCC Mall, okay, at 9 a.m. And he went home or he's done at KCC by 9:30 a.m. So this is the time that I started going to KCC, and this is the time that I basically ended my whatever I'm supposed to do at KCC. So time duration is how long it took me from start to end. And if you notice that it took me only 30 minutes to do whatever I'm supposed to do. Baka nagbayad lang si Teacher Mark ng bills niya or bumili lang ng meat sa grocery. So, yun na yun. The point is, I started at 9 a.m., ended up 9:30 to a total of 30 minutes duration. Okay? So, these are mga clues na kailangan nyong i-take when you are solving word problems. Okay, so number 1 tayo. Susie and her friends watched a play. The play started at 5:30 p.m. and it lasted 1 hour and 20 minutes. Okay. What time did the play end? So, you know, may mga terms tayo dun. If you notice, it says there that the play started at 5:30 a.m. So, it started at 5:30 p.m. pala, sorry. p.m. And it lasted 1 hour and 20 minutes. So, yung duration na yan, that's the duration. 1 hour and 20 minutes. We do not know what time the play natapos, no? So, question mark ito dito. Okay. To solve this, all you need to do basically is to parang timeline, no? Actually, you can add them. Madali lang naman talaga yan i-add. So, in this case, let's try to do it in 2 ways. First is just to basically make a timeline. Okay, so from 5:30, skipping an hour, that will give us 6:30. Bakit tayo nag-skip an hour? Kasi yun na nga, ang given natin is 1 hour and 20 minutes. We skipped 1 hour. So, from 5:30, naging 6:30 na. And add up 20 minutes to 6:30. That will lead you to 6:50 p.m. Okay. And the other one is basically taking the time, which is 5:30. And all you need to do is just to add up according to the units, no? Kasi when we add, we should only add hours to hours and minutes to minutes. Okay, dapat ganun lang. So, we should add up 1 hour here and the 20 minutes here. So, add lang natin yan. It's like the usual adding lang, but yung na-discuss ko nga last time sa last video ko, that there is basically a separator between between minutes and hours. Okay, may separator yan dyan. I-explain ko lang in a while. Okay, so for now, If you notice, if you are going to add all the minutes, no, that's 0 and 5. So that's 50. And 6 plus 1 will give you 6. So basically, kung nakita nyo, naging parehas yung sagot natin. There are times though that if, for example lang, adding, and this is an example na not related to number 1 already, but just as an example of how we add numbers, how we add time. Okay, so let's say we have 5 hours, 5:30 din. Okay, just to relate it to the problem. 5:30. And then let's say yung situation kanina is not 1 hour and 20 minutes, but let's say it lasted for 1 hour and 40 minutes. Okay. If you basically remember your basics with adding numbers, nag-carry over tayo sa 10, 'di ba? Dito naman, we don't do that. We don't apply that here when we deal about time. Basta ang importante is separate nyo ang minutes sa hours. Okay? It doesn't matter kahit aabot pa to ng 100 or 200 dito. Okay? It doesn't matter. Basta ang importante, separate nyo lang muna yung units natin. Okay. Now, for the minutes, you have 30 and 40. So, all you have to do is just to add 30 and 40, which will give you 70. Then you add up your hours as well, which is 6 plus 1, which is in this case is 6 hours. Now, just to ask you, have you ever heard the time 6:70? Like, Teacher Mark, what time is it? I'm gonna respond to you. It's 6:70. Okay. There's no such thing as 6:70, diba? But there is an equivalent to this. Ibe-breakdown natin to, knowing that for every 1 hour is equivalent to 60 minutes. Okay. So, i-break down natin yan. So, if you're going to take out 60 minutes from 70 minutes, you will now be left with 10 minutes. Okay? Ibe-break down natin. Breakdown ng 70, removing 60, standard yan. And then, we are now left with 10 minutes now. You might ask me, Teacher Mark, why do we need to remove 60 from 70? Because nga, like what I've said, 60 is equivalent to 1 hour. And since 70 is more than 1 hour, which is 60 minutes, we need to change this or convert this to hours. Okay? Yung 60, you need to change it to hours. So in this case, you know that 60 is equivalent to 1 hour. Now, okay, Teacher Mark, you now know. Ganun na yan. I'll just erase mga unnecessary details here. Okay. You now know that we have 10 minutes here. And you also know that yung 60 will now be converted to 1 hour. Now, anong gagawin natin dito, Teacher Mark? All you need to do is just to add up itong time na to here. So, 6 plus 1 will basically give you 7. And what's left is 10 minutes. So, which means the equivalent of 670, the actual time of it is 7:10. Okay? So, bine-breakdown natin because like what I've said, always set a boundary for minutes and hours. Okay? So, ganun tayo nagdi-deal when we are adding time. Okay? So, let's proceed to number 2. John reached his friend's house at 10:15 a.m. He stayed there until 2:55 p.m. How long did he stay at his friend's house? So, what we are tasked to solve here, gather data muna tayo. John reached his friend's house at 10:15 a.m. He stayed there until 2:55. So, the situation tells us that time started is 10:15 a.m. The time that John reached the friend's house. He stayed there until 2:55 p.m. Nagstay siya dyan, no? Until 2:55 p.m. So, what's missing is the duration. So, again, there are two ways to solve this. Like yung kanina din, there are two ways to solve this. Pero, I suggest na ito yung gawin ninyo. Kasi mas madali to. Unless if the situation is getting complicated. So, again, two ways. One is, syempre, pwede nyong gawin in timeline again. Pwede nyong gawin in timeline again. So, finding out how long John stayed at his friend's house. So, nag-start tayo at 10:15. Skip count by an hour. So, that's 11:15. 12:15. 1:15. 2:15. And trying to skip count further, 3:15. But if you notice, yung end time natin is 2:55 and 3:15 is already over 2:55, which means we should not consider this anymore. So we can now take ito, the last hour natin. So which means we are now left with a few minutes na lang. Few minutes from 2:15 all the way to 2:55. So we can now say, starting from 0, we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we now have a total of 4 hours for now. Ang missing na lang natin is the unit for our minutes. Okay. So all you need to do now is just to count starting from 15 until you reach 55. So pwede nyong skip count yan. Nasa sa inyo na. Or better yet, subtract nyo lang. Okay? So we now have 55 minus 15, which is equivalent to 5 minus 1 is 4. So we are now left with 40 minutes. So which means it took John 4 hours and 40 minutes to reach the destination. Okay? So basically ganun lang yung activity, no? Ganun yung approach ninyo when you are solving for duration. Kasi kanina we are solving for time ended, no? Anong oras natapos? If you are solving for time ended, this is the technique that you're going to use. If you are solving for duration, this is the technique that you're going to use, or the approach that you're going to make use of. Okay? So, ganun lang. Hindi ko na lang siguro explain yung other way para hindi tayo malito. Okay? To avoid confusion. Okay, let's proceed to number 3. Again, nagkaroon na tayo ng example ng duration. We also had an example of time ended. So what we're looking for na lang is one more an example that will give us to solve for time started. Okay. So number 3 tayo. Melissa is meeting her friends for dinner at 7 p.m. The journey to the restaurant takes 55 minutes. At what time must she leave her house if she wants to reach the restaurant on time? Okay. So here we go. Meron tayong, it says there is meeting her friends for dinner at 7 p.m. The journey to the restaurant takes 55 minutes. So that's basically the duration. No? Duration. That's 55 minutes daw ang travel niya from house niya to the location where they are going to meet, which is the restaurant. So they should meet at the restaurant at 7 p.m. So meaning that is the time of end of her travel. No, 7 p.m. sorry. So the what we're solving for here now is the time that she should leave, no? So parang time na nag-start. So basically, no? Yung we are now talking about the travel, not how long she stayed there, but the problem is trying to tell us that what time should she leave the house and what time she will leave the house, what time she will arrive, and how long will it take her to reach her destination. Okay. So if you notice, time start yung missing natin. So, the same lang din sa lahat. In this case, we also have two ways. One way is you basically just need to count backwards, no? Yun lang yung basic to count backwards. And if you have a time there, mas maganda sana kung makita nyo talaga sa orasan. No? And if you notice, 55 minutes is almost an hour. No? So, it's like counting backwards. All you need to do is just to reverse 55 minutes starting from 7 o'clock. So, how will I illustrate this ba? So, for example, 7 o'clock. If we will count backwards and remove, let's say, 15 minutes, subtracting 15 minutes, kasi 55 ang kailangan eh. So, let's start with 15 muna. Or 30 para mas malaki. Kaagad. So, if you're going to remove 30, we will basically end up with 6:30. Again, we are moving backwards. Okay? From 7 o'clock, magiging 6:30 na siya. Then, let's say, ilan ang isa-subtract natin dito. We can directly go to the number of minutes left. No, if you notice, we have 55, and if we're going to remove 30, we basically have 25 minutes left. But some of you might find it difficult, so pwede natin just to take part of it. Let's say 15. Let's take off 15. So, removing 15 minutes from 6:30, which will leave us 6:15. So, time left, if you're going to remove 15 from 25 minutes earlier, we now have 10 minutes left. And finally, if you're going to remove the final 10 minutes left, we now have 6:05. Okay. So, this is our final time na ngayon. So, in other words, this is the time that Melissa needs to leave her house to reach the restaurant at 7 p.m. Okay. So, the other way around. So, basically, all you need to do here is just to subtract. What are you going to do to subtract? Ano yung isa-subtract ninyo? What you're going to subtract is the time that things, that basically nag-end, no? Time ended at some point. Okay? And minus the duration. Again, always remember the rule when we are doing this. Always separate the hour and minutes. No? So, we have 7 p.m. yung time end natin. Okay. And our duration, walang hours, but we only have minutes. So, 55 should only be written here. So, again, you might ask me, so Teacher Mark, do we just like borrow 1? Parang cancel here, maging 6 to, this will become 10. Is that the case? No, because we are talking about time. Different yung approach. But what we can do is to take 7. Okay, we are taking 7. And we need to borrow 1 hour from 7. If you're going to borrow 1 hour from 7, we now have 6 hours left na lang. Okay. So, basically, we can now say safely say that our final hour here is 6. Since why did I say that? Kasi wala tayong value dito. We don't have a value here. We don't have R here. Okay? So, we can now say that our final time is, final R rather, is 6. Okay, now, Teacher Mark, what do we do with this 1 hour? You need to change this to minutes. And you know that that 1 hour is equivalent to 60 minutes. Okay, now, Teacher Mark, ano gagawin namin? That we all know that it's 60 minutes. All you need to do is just to replace these 2 zeros over here. So, I re-replace ko lang. So, this will now become 60. Okay. So, again, like what happened earlier, this 7 as well became 6. Okay? So, parang it's the same equivalent. Ni-breakdown lang natin siya. Then, from here, you can proceed with subtraction. So, dito, you can apply the basic subtraction natin. 0 minus 5, hindi pwede. So, magbaborrow tayo here. 10 minus 5 is equivalent to 5. 5 minus 5 is 0. And what's left is 6, which left us with 605. Again, you have the freedom to choose whichever approach you want to make use of. You can use this, but I know you will find this confusing. So you can actually just do the basic one, which you just need to manually count backwards. Okay? So parang the same lang naman yung approach. It's just that this is a little more complicated than the basic one. Okay? So ganun lang. So we were able to tackle all three situations where you need to solve for the time ended, the duration, and the time that things should start or time started at some point. Okay. I'll scan through the pages. Tignan ko muna kung there are problems that can complicate things. So I'll pause this recording for a while and check. Okay, so there are some items na that you basically need parang additional, parang like the usual word problem lang siya. So let's try to do this. Again, for the remaining numbers, I'm just going to assist you. The approach lang. I'm not gonna give you, basically show you the answer, but technically showing you the solution, no? All you need to do is to complete the details. So again, we can start here. Number 4, Mr. Matthew is a part-time lecturer. He is paid $125 an hour. The table below shows the number of hours he teaches in a week. So how much does Mr. Matthew earn in a week? Okay, ito medyo basic, no? May table dyan that says Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So sa Monday, he basically teaches 3 hours, no? 2 hours for Tuesday, 3 hours, 4 hours, 2 hours, and 5 hours. So take note that he is paid $125 per hour. So every hour. So ibig sabihin, if he teaches 1 hour, meron na siyang 125. If he teaches 2 hours, so that's basically 125 multiplied to 2. If he teaches 3 hours, that's equivalent to 3 hours. Sorry. That's equivalent to 125 multiplied to 3. So, all you need to do here is to take the total number of hours lang. And that will basically help you solve the problem. Okay? So, ganun ang gagawin nyo sa number 4. Sa number 5 naman, Aunt Grace works at a factory. She is paid $9 per hour. She works 8 hours every day. Okay? Si Aunt Grace daw, o baka si Teacher Grace yan. Aunt Grace works at a factory. She is paid $9 per hour daw. $9 per hour. She works 8 hours a day. So, 8 hours a day. So, if you are going to compute this, no, I will help you with this one. 8 hours a day. So, ibig sabihin, for every 1 day niya, she works 8 hours. And per hour, she's paid $9. So, all you need to do is basically just to multiply this. 8 times 9. And if you know your multiplication table, 8 times 9 will give you 72. And in this case, we're talking about dollars. So, ibig sabihin, kada isang araw niya is equivalent to $72. Now, ang sabi dyan, if she works from Monday to Saturday, find the total number of hours. Okay? Sa number, remember, she works 8 hours per day. Okay? Meaning, if 1 day, it's equivalent to 8 hours. If 2 days, it's equivalent to 8 hours times 2. So, parang the same logic as this one sa taas. Okay? So, parang it's similar. So, that's for your A, no? To reach for your answer. And for B naman, how much does she earn in a week? Imagine that for 1 day, she earns this one. And yes, the question may say that in a week, pero the work there is only from Monday all the way to Saturday. So you should just count the number of days that you have and multiply it with this one to get the answer. Okay, number 6 naman tayo. Dave is a part-time proofreader. He needs 2 hours to proofread a book. So for every book, he needs 2 hours. Okay, we are basically gathering data lang. And he is paid $15 per hour. Kada isang oras is equivalent to $15. How many hours does he need to proofread a series of 6 books? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So again, for each book, it takes him 2 hours. Now, how long? Yung bang tanong? Okay, how many hours? Yes, how long will it take him to read 6 such books? Okay, from there, makukuha nyo ako na yung answer for letter A. Then B, find the total amount of money he will be paid for proofreading 6 books. Again, kada isang oras, ibig sabihin, for each book, since it takes him 2 hours to read each book. So, ibig sabihin dito, since he gets paid $15 per book, so all you need to do is just to multiply it by the number of hours, which is 2. So, ibig sabihin, kada isang book, he earns $30. Okay. So, what more for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, total of 6 books. So, that's for letter B. Okay. Number 7, Francis painted 4 drawings. He took 2 hours to paint each drawing. Again, gathering of data. 1, 2, 3, 4 drawings tayo meron. Sabi doon sa book. He took 2 hours to paint each drawing. So, kada drawing daw, 2 hours ang allotted time niya. So, how long did it take to paint the 4 drawings? So, given. Everything is given already for your letter A. You can already solve for your letter A. And for letter B, if he started painting at 10 a.m., what time did she finish? So, meron tayong time started, which is 10 a.m. You do not know what time he ended, so that's what you are basically solving for. And also, you have your duration. Meron tayo niyan. Where's your duration? Nandito. With your answer in letter A. Then from there, you can apply the problem solving, the technique that we used earlier. Okay, sa number 8 naman, Shanice took a coach from Singapore to Kuala Lumpur. The journey was 5 hours. So this is basically equivalent to the basic word problems natin dito. So I will leave number 8 to you. Okay, kayo na mag-solve niyan kasi wala nang additional information unlike the other ones, no. So that goes for 8, 9. I'll read first. Okay. Okay, so parang similar na lang. 8, 9, 10 are similar to 1, 2, 3, the first 3 numbers that we basically talked about earlier. They are all similar, so I will leave 8, 9, and 10 to you. Okay, so that's it.